Here we go. Welcome back to the Seven Deadly Sins anime review, episode number 64. We're here reviewing the very next arc of the series, which is Dalflare Range Arc, which takes up basically, we're talking the episodes here, 12 to 14, and adapts chapters 32 to 41. Yes, this one covers roughly 10 chapters. And believe it or not, the very next arc is only 9. Yep. So in these episodes, Percival's group just is still on the way to Leonis. They basically go up a mountainside. They still got a few days to get there. But then, of course, Percival's oh, I'll be right back. So he decides to go to the bathroom, and Donnie decides to follow him. And, of course, Natsukin's nah, I'm good. And, of course, they decide to do their business. And then they see the trees. Oh, it's a village. Okay, and the people there are a little weird. It looks like they're farming rocks. Yeah, I thought this was kind of weird. So, then you have basically An and Nausicaans meeting this hunter who wants to destroy this thing in the village because they think it's evil or something. And of course, An destroys it. And of course, there's this wise man in the village who looks a lot like the Demon King. I thought this was kind of weird. Yes, why the heck does this wise man look like the Demon King? I mean, he's the same shape as him. He's not as tall as he is per se. Same beard. Yeah, looks a lot like a Demon King. Who this guy is now revealed into the final episode of this arc. So. Yeah, and then of course the spider knocked down. Turns out the whole village is populated by demons. Gray and red demons who decided to stay out of the conflict, despite the fact that it was shown in the Seven Deadly Sins these two were main soldiers. Maybe just these particular demons per se. And of course, first become friends with him because it's also revealed that he knows the demon language. Yes, this is the biggest story impact we have of the whole series. Is that Percival knows demon language. And of course, we have this new ability that he learns where he can merge his power with his new sword he just got in the previous arc, so he proceeds to slice off. Well, it turns out the hunter turns out to be a knight of Camelot, a very weak knight, who summons a creature, and of course, Percival tries to slice it with no blade, and it combines with magic, slice the horns off, and then of course he proceeds to run away! He's like, strategic retreat. The whole runaway thing is actually from my Python's Search for Holy, My Python Holy Grail, where there's a famous scene from the movie where, you have the whole group running away from an evil rabbit. Yes. And there's also a famous scene also in the movie where it's it's a scratch wall. This black knight gets his arms and legs chopped off. Oh, it's just a scratch. And finally he gets his head chopped off after all his limbs are gone. Yeah. Calls cutting off all his limbs a scratch. And here he is hopping around. It's so funny. It's done for comedy, but it's a very scary prospect, but it was done for comedy. It's my Python. So, the four proceed to follow him, of course, along with the wise man. And they get there, and then the four, Percival, An, Donnie, and Nausicaans, are turned into children. Very chunky babies, mind you. Yes. Now, I'm not really sure why these babies are basically chunky. I mean, babies I've seen tend to be pretty thin. Not this chunky. I thought this was a little weird. I get the fact there's this thing called baby fat, but these babies look a bit too chunky. I'm were these, if you think about all of them, the only one looks normal is probably Percival. Everyone else, An looks chubby as a baby, despite the fact when she's, Virgo size, she's a very beautiful woman. And of course, An basically has her clothes falling off, and Percival has his helmet can't see. And it's ha ha, I turned you all into babies. And then the wise man shows up, and then he's like, shine! It's revealed to be Gother of the seven deadly sins. And good job on the voice act on Netflix for bringing back Gother's voice actor. Yes, it's the same one. And he's once again got a brand new attire and showing off his femininity because he's a feminine guy. For those of you who don't know the thing about Gother, Gother is a doll. Yes, who at one point thought he was one of the Ten Commandments. One of the 10 generals of the demon army. When it turns out it was his creator was the actual person, part of the Ten Commandments, and he was just a stand-in. Well, he was filling for his creator, who actually was in purgatory, then he later died. Yeah, and of course, so it turns out, this guy named Ark, and all he wants to see was his daughter, and he very crazy illusion of his daughter, and he knows it's an illusion, but he's happy to see her. And then a spear pops up out of nowhere. Yes, a freaking spear. Tries to, they're in this crystal cave, which apparently is connected to the capital of the dead. Which, okay, that was location from the Seven Deadly Sins, and I believe it was like the third arc of the series. Where while they were there, they run into the ghost of Elaine, who later came back in the series in full form. Because the crystal's connected, and of course he said he's been there for 5 years. He has not seen his daughter at all. Then eventually he takes On outside, and Percival follows him. He takes Percival too, because he needs to kill Percival. But not On. He has no desire to kill On at all. He just wants to kill Percival because he's one of the Four Knights Apocalypse. So eventually he sacrifices himself to save On and Percival, because he realized basically... Oh, by the way, the person who turned him into a Holy Knight like this was Arthur Pendragon, the main villain of the series. And then we have the debut of the Dark Talismans. Yep. Though not named per se, but yeah, this episode is technically their debut appearance. You have Elgin, a guy basically who's got like a chopper thing for mouth. There's like 5 of these guys. There is Borky, a female version who basically is very really. Now, here's the weird thing about these Dark Talismans. We don't know what the faces look like. We have Borgy, Dontrich, Elgin, Fedric, who's kind of like the leader, and Tamahu, he's the one who fired the spear. And then Percival, I think was Gother, has Tamahu basically trying to kill his companions, but they all come back anyways. Then eventually he does kill. Now, of course, basically, well, Tamadou is actually killed by Frederick, and kind of in a way, the best way to have the purpose of these characters is their pure setup for the very next arc of the series. That is literally what the purpose of their debut is at the end of this arc. It's like we wrap up the story arc and then like, okay, so let's debut these 5 characters, but we're not going to feature one of them, and it's Tamahu. Yep. And who voices them? We have Xander Mobius voicing Elgin. Borgy is voiced by Dawn M. Bennett, who's a really good voice actress. Dorniche is voiced by Louis Barnabas. Fittich is voiced by Alan Lee. And Tamahu is voiced by Brett Mookie. And those who forgot what Gother, basically who voices him, Eric Scott Kramer. He has this thing of basically dressing like a girl, despite the fact it's a guy. Yeah, it's a male character. He always referred to as he. That's basically his gender. It's a male who dresses like a girl. Yeah, and when Eric returns back normal, Donnie's response seeing Gother is like, "Oh, who's a pretty girl?" It's a guy dressed in girl's attire. And then, of course, I'm a bit confused by exactly what happened. Then Gother proceeds to share, well, Arborg's memories, and everybody basically is comforting her, and, well, then we lead to the very next arc. It's a nice ending to this arc, and this is a real lot of fun. And Gother, here's a little fun fact for this particular arc. He is the first of the Seven Deadly Sins to make an actual appearance. Meliodas' appearance in the previous arc was actually anime only, but he was the first one to actually make an appearance in the series. But he's not a supporting character like Hauser is. He is a main character. Like, in a way, he is the fourth character from the previous series to this one. First it was Doris, who appeared in the second arc of the series. And then it was, after Doris, it was, then it was Arthur, because he also been in the previous series as well. They had Hauser, the bartender, and now Gother. Roughly 5 characters from the previous series has now appeared in this one. Now, Gother himself, after this arc, he disappears for quite a while. He actually does not return until after the series time skip. So he basically can't leave the village because it's his job to protect it. And that's it for him for quite a while. And kind of also in the way, this also not only sets the very next arc of the series, it sets the following arc of the series, which will end the season. We'll get to that later on. Yep. And that will take up most episodes, not like 1 or 2. That will take up 4. And starting with the very next episode, we're back doing 2 again. And it'll be like this for the remaining 10 episodes of the season. So we have roughly 5 more videos left to go for 7 Deadly Sins, 4 Nights Apocalypse. Yep, so yeah, that's a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do the dislike button. Next up, basically, we have a comic corner, and then down to just 2 more episodes of 4 Nights Apocalypse, and then it's in the case closed. And then back to this series to finish up, hopefully, the last 8 episodes of Season 1. If not today, I'll finish up tomorrow. Okay? But do this next video. Bye.